two current Sempervirens Fund projects, the Great Park and the establishment of a Cotoni-Coast Dairies National Monument, constitute goals commensurate with the 115-year of Sempervirens as a movement, the track record it has achieved, and the complexity and scale of contemporary California. The Great Park is anchored in a vision heroic in scale, the setting aside of more than 200 square miles of towering redwoods, abundant wildlife, thriving people, and exquisite beauty, integrating public parks and trails, private land, tribal areas, and sustainably managed forests to form an intact, life-giving redwood forest alongside one of the largest metropolitan regions of the nation. What the federal government achieved with federal funds and the creation of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, the integration and preservation of previously owned federal properties into a wilderness preserve on the very heights of the Golden Gate, was breathtaking enough. And important as well was the model the federal government established for the Presidio of San Francisco, the transformation of federal property into a self-sustaining parkland complex. And the Great Park, however, takes these projects to the next level of public-private cooperation, in which private philanthropy, sometimes leveraging public properties and funds, creates a great park that in and of itself represents a composite presentation of geological history, millennial redwood groves, floral and animal life, the Native American people and legacy, and contemporary California in harmony with nature that, when completed, will constitute one of California's best ideas of itself. The state as environmental legacy, California as transcendent nature and responsible human settlement, a notion, of course, that the Native American community has pursued for hundreds and hundreds of years. Here, indeed, in the Great Park campaign, we enjoy a vision of the California future. That time to come when, like Italy has managed to do before us, California manages its entirety as an integrated entity of metropolitan and rural settlement, agriculture, transportation systems, wilderness preserve, managed forest, and organized parkland into one great park, which is to say one integrated, interactive, and harmonious relationship between nature and human settlement. Sempervirens Fund's work at Castle Rock State Park and San Vicente Redwoods are great examples of how, thanks to conservationists like yourselves, action is being taken to implement the Great Park vision and to shape and support parks for the 21st century. Developing a modern gateway to the redwoods at Castle Rock State Park, more inviting, more accessible, more sustainable for recreation, education, and rejuvenation, and working with partner organizations to acquire and manage the vast 8,500-acre San Vicente Redwoods property is conservation as it has never been seen before in this area, either in scale or structure. So too does the Sempervirens campaign in collaboration with 4 other conservation organizations under the Living Landscape Initiative, working to establish a new Cotoni-Coast Dairies monument in the town of Davenport, just north of Santa Cruz. This represents something grand in social and cultural terms, the belief that nature itself is our finest monument. For monuments are intended to teach, and nature itself is our best teacher. This beautiful section of the coast, a product of the ages, has made it through intact into the present. Hence, it can teach as well as delight. It can teach us about the increasing need for land stewardship as we face the risk of using up California entirely. It can teach the nation the value of such strategic acquisition and stewardship of endangered properties near large population centers. In a nation of dramatically changing demographics, it can help new generations of Americans understand that they have arrived not only in a supportive society, but that society has been nurtured by a landscape evoking greatness of social and cultural purpose. Such a monument, such a preserve adjacent to Silicon Valley can assure Americans that nature and technology are not incompatible when technology is properly employed. And in the cooling breezes coming from offshore, such a monument can perhaps assure us that we can bring human settlement into better conformity with the still mysterious cycles of climate on planet Earth. Tragic indeed was the loss of redwood forest lands in the 19th century, but hopeful indeed is the legacy created when Andrew P. Hill and his companions looked around at devastated hillsides and at surviving groves, and pointing to the groves said that these trees, and not these scarce hillsides, would best express the values and creative action of progressive era California. Today, Sempervirens Fund builds on this history and continues this legacy, taking care of these ancient redwoods, these ambassadors from another time, as John Steinbeck refers to them, and sharing them with future generations. This stability, like a redwood itself, gives hope for the future of California. Thank you so much.